Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more gardening tips and tricks. Today, we're diving into one of the most loved and rewarding vegetables to grow at home, tomatoes. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced gardener, this guide will show you the easiest and most fruitful way to grow tomatoes at home. So, let's get started. Choosing the right tomato variety. First things first, it's important to pick the right tomato variety. For beginners, I recommend starting with cherry tomatoes or Roma tomatoes. They're smaller, faster growing, and require less maintenance than larger varieties like beefsteak tomatoes. Look for seeds or seedlings that are labeled as determinate, which means the plants will stop growing once they reach a certain size, or indeterminate for continuous production throughout the season. Either way, you'll have a fresh supply of tomatoes at home. Preparing your soil and containers. Tomatoes thrive in nutrient-rich, well-draining soil. If you're growing in containers, choose ones that are at least 12 inches deep with proper drainage holes. You can also plant tomatoes directly in the ground or raised beds if you have space. For the soil, mix in some compost or organic matter to give your plants a healthy start. Tomatoes love slightly acidic soil with a pH of 6.0 to 6.8, but don't worry, most potting mixes will do just fine. Planting your tomatoes. Once you have your seedlings ready, it's time to plant. Here's a key tip. When planting, bury about 2/3 of the plant's stem. This encourages strong root growth and helps the plant take in more nutrients, leading to better fruit production. Space your plants about 18 to 24 inches apart if you're planting in the ground. If using a container, plant 1 tomato per pot for the best results. Watering and sunlight needs are crucial for growing healthy tomatoes. Tomatoes love water, but they don't like being waterlogged. Water your plants deeply 2 to 3 times a week, ensuring the soil stays moist but not soggy. Early morning is the best time to water. Tomatoes also need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight per day. The more sunlight they get, the better your tomatoes will taste. As your tomato plants grow, they'll need some support. Use tomato cages, stakes, or even DIY trellises to keep the plants upright and prevent them from breaking under the weight of the tomatoes. Supporting your plants also improves air circulation, reducing the risk of disease. For healthy fruit-producing plants, fertilize regularly. I recommend using an organic fertilizer high in phosphorus and potassium. These nutrients are essential for flowering and fruiting. Feed your tomatoes every 2 weeks once they start flowering. But avoid over-fertilizing with nitrogen, as it can lead to lush leaves but fewer tomatoes. Pruning for better yield. Pruning is an optional but effective way to increase your tomato yield. Look out for small shoots called suckers that grow between the main stem and branches. Pinch these off to focus the plant's energy on producing more fruit rather than extra foliage. This helps your plant stay healthy and produce bigger, better tomatoes. Harvesting your tomatoes. After about 60 to 90 days, depending on the variety, your tomatoes will be ready to harvest. Pick them when they're firm but slightly soft to the touch. The color will depend on the type, but most tomatoes will be a rich red, yellow, or orange when fully ripe. It's best to harvest tomatoes in the morning when they're cool and full of flavor. Simply twist or cut the tomatoes from the vine, and you're all set. Final tips and common mistakes to avoid. Before we wrap up, here are a few final tips. Avoid overhead watering, as it can lead to diseases like blight. Instead, water at the base of the plants. Also, don't overcrowd your plants. Give them space to breathe. And one common mistake to avoid, don't be tempted to pick your tomatoes too early. Let them ripen fully on the vine for the best taste. Conclusion. There you have it. The easiest and most fruitful way to grow tomatoes at home, even if you're a beginner. With these tips, you'll be harvesting your own fresh, juicy tomatoes in no time. If you found this video helpful, please give a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more gardening tips and tutorials. Thanks for watching, and happy gardening. End of script.